Have you ever noticed a certain noise in your head? Not a loud noise, but a sort of background hum of anxiety. It starts almost the moment you wake up. That mental list of things you should do, the conversation you replayed too many times, the future you're terrified of, or the past you can't seem to release. It feels like life is one great, big, complicated problem that you've been given to solve. And you weren't even told the rules. From the moment we can understand words, we're told to figure it out. Figure out your career. Figure out your relationships. Figure out your purpose. It's as if you've been handed a tangled ball of string in a dark room and told to find the end. And the whole time you're fumbling, you can hear a clock ticking, counting down the seconds you have left to solve it. Well, what if I were to tell you, and I want you to really listen to this, to feel it, what if I were to tell you that the problem isn't the tangled string? The problem is that you believe there is a string that needs untangling in the first place. That is the ghost we are chasing. And today, we're going to see right through it. You see, we are all living in what I like to call a repetitive, neurotic pattern. We get up, we worry, we strive, we achieve a little, we lose a little, and we go to bed only to do the same dance tomorrow. It's the ultimate rat race. And we think we're running this race because the problems are so very difficult, so overwhelmingly complex. But my dear friend, the truth is far more curious and far more liberating. We are stuck because we are trying to solve puzzles that do not exist. They are mirages. They have the shape and form of problems. They cast a shadow of anxiety. But when you reach out to touch them, your hand passes right through. And this act of grasping at phantoms is what exhausts us, what leaves us feeling so profoundly tired, not from living, but from this futile struggle with life. Let's take one of our most cherished ghosts, shall we? The instinct for survival. We build our entire lives upon it. Our education, our jobs, our banks, our fears. We say, I must survive, I must thrive, I must protect what is mine. It feels so fundamental, so real, the very bedrock of our being. But I want you to do something with me right now. I want you to question it, not with cynicism, but with the open curiosity of a child. What is this instinct really? Where is it located? Can you point to it? Can you show it to me? You see a person eating and you say, that is the instinct for survival. But look closer. Isn't it just a person eating? You see a person running from danger. Isn't it just running? We have invented a little spook, a little ghost in the machine called the instinct to explain what is simply happening. We are describing the dance by inventing a dancer separate from the dance. We see the river flowing and we insist there must be a thing called flowiness pushing it along. People survive until they don't. And then what becomes of the instinct? It vanishes. It was a story all along. A very convincing, very persuasive story, but a story nonetheless. We are so busy looking for the cause of the behavior that we completely miss the beauty and the totality of the behavior itself. We are alive. That is not a statement that needs a ghost to explain it. It is a fact to be experienced. The aliveness is the primary reality, not the instinct for it. And this brings us to a much bigger, much more pervasive ghost, the ghost of stuff, the ghost of separateness. We look at the world through a lens of nouns. I am here in my bag of skin, and you are out there. This table is a solid thing. That star in the sky is a solid thing. We feel so certain of this. Our entire language is built around it. But language is a map, and a map is not the territory. Is the territory really so solid? Look at that star on a clear night. It looks like a perfect, tiny diamond pinprick in the velvet of the night, doesn't it? So solitary, so permanent, a definitive thing in the emptiness. Now, in your mind's eye, point a telescope at it. Watch what happens. That tiny, solid point begins to unravel. it blossoms, it expands, it reveals itself to be a magnificent, swirling, cosmic dance of a billion suns, a spiral galaxy, a great stellar pinwheel spinning in the silence. It was never a solid thing. It was always a happening, a verb disguised as a noun. It was a pattern of unimaginable energy, a relationship of forces, a process. What you thought was a thing was always a pattern. And a pattern, you see, is not a static object. A pattern is simply a form of behavior. Let's bring this closer to home. Let's bring it right into this very room, into this very body you inhabit. Feel your own skin. Run your hand over your arm. Feel the boundary of yourself. This seems to be the most real thing in the world. I am in here. The world is out there. This is the fundamental division upon which we build our identity, our anxieties, our loneliness. But let's examine this boundary. Just as we examined the star, let's turn our telescope of attention upon it. What is holding you together? Your skin? Your bones? Yes, partly. But there is also the entire atmosphere around you, the entire sky, in fact, pressing against you with a weight of 15 pounds on every single square inch of your body. This isn't a passive environment. It is an active participant in your very form. If that cosmic pressure were to vanish, you would not simply float away, you would come apart, you would explode. So I ask you again, what is the real container of your body? Is it just your skin, or is it a dynamic, living transaction between what is in here and what is out there? Where do you truly end, and where does the world begin? Is the air you are breathing at this moment part of you? When does it become you? Is the food you ate yesterday now you? And when it leaves your body tomorrow, does it stop being you? The boundary is far more fuzzy, far more mysterious than we were led to believe. You see, a buyer cannot exist without a seller. An inside cannot exist without an outside. You cannot have a front without a back. A knower cannot exist without something to be known. They arise together. They are two poles of a single event. They are mutually arising in a delicate and inseparable dance. We make a fatal, yet entirely understandable error. We see a man who is a doctor and we think, there is a person and he has the job of being a doctor. We see a woman who is a mother and we think, there is a person and she has the role of being a mother. We see a person who is anxious and we think, there is a person and he has a problem with anxiety. We imagine a solid, constant, separate I that moves through these different roles and states like a ghost moving through rooms. A little homunculus inside the head, who is the real you, the thinker of your thoughts, the feeler of your feelings. This is the ultimate phantom, the central ghost of you. The truth, when you look closely, is far more fluid, far more interesting. The person is the doctoring. The person is the mothering. When you are fully listening to a friend, are you a listener having an experience? Or are you in that moment the listening itself? When you are angry, are you a self that has anger? Or are you, for that moment, the anger-ing? There is no driver separate from the car. The dancing is all there is. There is no dancer apart from the dance. Think of a whirlpool in a river. It has a distinct, recognizable form. You can point to it and say, there is a whirlpool. It has a certain behavior, a certain pattern, but can you separate the whirlpool from the river? Can you take it out and put it on the bank? The whirlpool is nothing more than the river, whirling. It is a behavior of the river. It is absolutely dependent on the river's flow for its very existence. The moment the river stops, the whirlpool vanishes. You are not a rock in that river, stubbornly resisting the current. That is the old, painful, and exhausting way to live, the model of the separate self, battling a hostile universe. You are the whirlpool. You are a temporary, dynamic, beautiful pattern of the whole cosmos. Unique? Yes. Wonderful? Absolutely. But separate? No. You are the universe expressing itself as a person, just as the wave is the ocean expressing itself as a wave. The wave does not struggle to be water. It is water. You do not need to struggle to be the universe. You are it. When this realization dawns on you, not as an intellectual idea you agree with, but as a felt experience in your very bones, a shift in the very ground of your being, something extraordinary happens. The language of struggle simply falls away. It becomes obsolete. The words me versus the world begin to sound like nonsense, like trying to have a front without a back. The war is over. Because you see with stunning clarity that there was never an enemy. There was only ever one thing happening. And you are not merely a part of it, you are it. You are this happening. You stop trying to solve the problem of your life, and you simply start living it. You stop trying to untangle the string, and you realize you were never truly tangled. You were just convinced you were. And in that breathtaking, quiet clarity, the ghosts vanish. The anxiety, the striving, the profound loneliness, the feeling of being at war with existence, it dissolves. It was all based on a story, a phony concept, a game of shadows we mistook for substance. And what you are left with is the simple, astonishing, and utterly unproblematic truth of what has always been here. Life was never a problem to be solved. It is a mystery to be lived, a dance to be danced, a song to be sung. And the moment you see that, truly see it, you come home. You were never really away.